morning and a pleasant welcome to. All right, you got to check that. Good morning and a pleasant welcome to a very interesting edition of the program Sky Morning Live on Sky 107.1. It's good to be here again this morning, waking up with renewed energy and passion to always inform the public about happenings in and around the world, in Liberia and other parts of the world. Welcome to it. It's good to be here. My name is Matthias Labindi, welcoming you on this interesting edition this morning. Yesterday I told you that since it was my comeback edition, and usually those of us who've done radio for some time, you want to come with some kind of hot guest, that will keep the listeners on their feet while they listen to you. But we thought to do it differently. All right. We tried to do it differently yesterday by just coming in with a topic. Yes, we had a conversation. It was a great show. But this morning, we are privileged to have invited, in fact, he has confirmed his coming in the studio, the publisher of the Nation Times newspaper, Mr. Octavian Williams. He's going to be our guest this morning. He's going to be providing information to the public regarding they got 1 year this government has been in power for. What exactly is what should the people, what has the government achieved? And he being a journalist like myself, maybe several people out there, and reporting critical stories, I'm very sure he has something to share. So yes, Mr. Octavian Williams is going to be here from 8:05 to 9 o'clock. But let me quickly just inform you, Michael, you can just drop the theme song. We're not going to go for that break again. We're just going to go straight into it. I want to read the press release on the Executive Mansion Facebook page. All right. And the release is about the president's departure from Liberia to the Republic of Ghana. And Ghana is having its inauguration, I think today, right? Yesterday, the president departed. So let's quickly read the press release. Say for immediate release, President Joseph Yuma Boakai off to attend inauguration ceremony of Ghanaian President-elect John Dramani Mahama. President Joseph Yuma Boakai travels to Accra, Ghana, today, January 6, 2025, to attend the inauguration ceremony of the President-elect of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, and Vice President-elect Professor Jean Nana Opoku Ayengmang. The invitation to this historic event underscores the strong bond of friendship and cooperation that have long existed between Liberia and Ghana. It also reaffirms both nations' commitment to fostering national or regional unity, promoting democratic governance, and advance advancing development in West Africa. President Bouakar's participation in this significant occasion further highlights Liberia's steadfast dedication to regional peace, stability, and mutual collaboration. While in Accra, President Bouakar is expected to engage with fellow heads of state, dignitaries, and international partners to strengthen Liberia's diplomatic ties and explore opportunities for continued bilateral and multilateral cooperation. The president is accompanied by First Lady Katumu Y. Boakai, as well as senior government officials, including Foreign Minister Sarah Beslow Yanti, Information Minister Jeremy Mpia, Minister of State without portfolio Mamaka Belite, Chief of Protocol of the Republic of Liberia Antoinette M. Wallo, and Liberia Maritime Commissioner General Neto Zelai. While the president is away, Honorable Sylvester M. Grisby, Minister of State for Presidential Affairs, will chair the cabinet in consultation with the vice president while in constant contact with the president. The people of Liberia extend their warm congratulations to President-elect John Dramani Mahama and the people of Ghana on this milestone in their democratic joining. Liberia looks forward to deepening its partnership with Ghana in the years to come. President Bouakar is expected to return to Liberia immediately following the inauguration ceremony on Wednesday, January 8th. The inaugural ceremony will take place on Wednesday, that's the 8th of January. The BBC is reporting something about Ghana, about the even the entire inaugural program. But before I get to that communication, let me read another invitation that was also sent to Liberia. And this one it came from the office of the Speaker of the Ghanaian Parliament. All right. We live in a society where people deliberately ignore the facts, even if the facts are glaring and looking at them, they still try to do something different. And quickly before I get to that communication, that other invitation that was sent to the Speaker of the House of Representatives here in Liberia. Let me register something, or maybe just highlight something. Looking at this communication, I noticed that the number of people the president travel with, they're not even up to 10. So the president himself, 1, the first lady, 2, foreign minister, 3, information minister, 4, minister of state without portfolio, 5, chief of protocol, 6, and the Liberia Maritime Commissioner General Netolai, 7. So he traveled with 7 persons to go for the inauguration. Well, is that number appreciable or is more? I think it's the number isn't that huge as compared to previous years when we used to witness the president traveling with a multitude of people for functions. And this other communication is from the office of the Speaker, Parliament of Ghana. It says, Right Honorable Rachel Nangbe Kung, Speaker of Parliament, Monrovia, Liberia. Says invitation to the swearing-in ceremony of the President-elect and Vice President-elect of the Republic of Ghana. I convey to you, Right Honorable Speaker, my best wishes and compliments of the season. I write to invite you to the official swearing-in of the President-elect and Vice President-elect of the Republic of Ghana. The ceremony is scheduled to take place in the morning of Tuesday, 7th January 2025. As Ghana transitions to a new political administration and begins a new legislative session, we acknowledge the significance of building strong ties and collaboration among parliaments across the Africa region. Your presence would therefore be a great honor and a symbol of unity, shared values, and commitment to democratic governance in our respective countries. The Parliament of Ghana would be pleased to provide accommodation for you, Right Honorable Speaker, and two accompanying officials. Your office may contact the Director of Parliamentary Relations and Protocol, contact number attached, or via email for any additional information and arrangements. While looking forward to welcoming you to Ghana, please accept the assurances of my highest esteem. Right Honorable Alban Sumani Kingsford Bagbin, Speaker of Parliament of Ghana. All right, that's it. So this one is for the Speaker here at the House of Representatives. And yesterday somebody called in and said, Richard Kun is not the Speaker. Well, I mean, that is none of my business. I mean, if you want to go on to say he's not Speaker, okay, fine. Well, I didn't, as a journalist, I didn't participate in the removal of Speaker Kofa. Neither did I support the ascension of now current Speaker Richard Kun to the position of Speaker. All right. So it's important that we just will provide the information as they should, as the information should get out there to the public. So, by the way, for the clarity, the reason why the president, according to the Executive Mansion website, Facebook page, by the way, the reason why the president is going to be returning home on Wednesday is because the president will be interacting with other people, according to the Executive Mansion release, that he's going to be interacting with other people. The program wouldn't just end today and immediately he boards a plane and start to come back to Liberia. So, but therefore, he's going to be engaging with other people. And these kind of meetings are meetings that create an opportunity for, you know, the country and the nation that is interested in bilateral discussions to interact with other people and build relationships. Ghana and Liberia has a long history of ties. In fact, we are in the same West African region. But what is the BBC reporting? The BBC is reporting 3 hours ago that can Ghana's new president meet the voters' high expectations? Like in Liberia, every country, every word, every environment, whether in the classroom, whether in the community, even in the family, all right, the children, they look up to their father to provide for them, all right? They look up to their mother to also provide for them. So when you have this, you know, you have people coming into your life. They help to back you up, to support you and give you certain things that you need. I tell you, it's important that you live up to their expectations. People have expectations of you. You get on the radio, they expect that you will be a professional person. You enter the classroom, they expect that you provide better lessons for them. The students will expect that you provide better lessons for them. You are a father in the family. Your wife will expect that you will be a responsible man that will be able to cater to the children and pay the children's school fees, provide shelter for them, provide medication. And not just that, you as a father too must have character so that your lifestyle out there will not reflect a negative image on the family. So expectations. Now BBC is asking. All right, let's say good morning to Roberta Richards watching from Louisville, Kentucky. Thanks for joining us. You too can join us live on the Facebook page and Sky Communications Liberia Facebook page. All right, Sky Communication Liberia Facebook page, so that we can be able to all enjoy the program. I'm getting information that between Vranjama and Zozo is being blocked since 12 last night by residents of a town with that area within that area, because one of their citizens was killed by unknown men. And according to the information till now, there is no car coming or going. The angry crowd is agitating, and there's one pastor couple is on the scene. I think we need to contact this pastor couple who is currently on the scene. One of our friends just shared this information with us. So yes, as I was saying about what the BBC is reporting concerning expectation, and the question is just there. John Mahama, can the president, meet the expectations of the people? The people expect a lot. They're not going to compromise their feeling, their expectation because of the enormity of problems in the country. Because that's why when you campaigned, you told them that you would have done X, Y, and Z. So now is the time for you to do it. So that's why the BBC is asking this question. Can Ghana's new president meet the voters' high expectations? All right, we're not getting this pastor. We'll try to get him. But it's a sad one. Say a known man killed someone around the Zozo area there, and the road is blocked since 12 last night. So Ghana's former president John Mahama won last month's elections by by a landslide, but he will be under enormous pressure to meet the expectations of voters when he assumes office on Tuesday. After more than 3 years of economic misery, Ghanaians want a quick fix. Economic misery? I thought this other president, Akufo, was really doing well over there. Mahama swept back to power after 8 years in opposition, running what political analyst Nansata Yakubu described as a masterclass in campaigning. He defeated Vice President Muhammadu Bawumia by 56.6% of votes to 41.6% to notch up the biggest margin of victory by a candidate in 24 years. Mahama's party, the National Democratic Congress, also managed to land an overwhelming majority in parliament, securing 183 seats out of 276. Wow. They are 1 seat short of the 2/3 majority needed to pass laws and approve budgets and contracts without the vote of MPs from the other side of the political divide. So if they had just gotten 1 more seat, Mahama as his party, and they could just sit down and pass budget without even, consulting other MPs. Wow. He really worked hard. No wonder why the analyst said he ran a masterclass campaign. The result of 1 parliamentary seat is yet to be declared because of discrepancies. 4 other seats are being challenged in court by the NDC. But voter turnout was lower than in the 2020 election, especially in some of the heartlands of Bahumia's New Patriotic Party, suggesting some people they're disillusioned with its performances in government stayed at home. I'll just stop here because this last paragraph I just read is about how a vice president can take a backlash, can take a lot of backlashes from the public because of their participation in the previous government. Because I'm saying this to say that if a president, like now we have Jeremiah Kuhn and President Joseph Jomo Boakai, if the government does not perform now, it will reflect strongly on Jeremiah Kuhn if he should step out there to say, okay, you know what, I want to be president too. I want to go on my own name as Jeremiah Kuhn to be president. So his campaign will be even difficult than the campaigns of other people. Well, on the contrary, what made Ambassador Boakai's campaign to not be that difficult as it would have been in 2017, or as it were in 2017, because he had to sit down for 6 years and another regime came and led his country for 6 years. So mostly now the people were not focusing on Ellen's regime. They were focusing on we are 6 years of rule in the country. All right. So that break in between for Ambassador Boakai to sit down for 6 years after he and his boss led the country for 6 years, for 12 years, right? And then in 2017, he decided to contest. He contested. All right. People were saying all kind of clips were coming up about X, Y, and Z. Yeah. So many things came up at that time. Squander opportunities and statements he made prior to going to the elections. But it's an interesting thing. So Ghana's election is a lot of lesson for us to learn in the sub-region. That vice president, he got 46.5% of the vote when the man 41.6% of the vote, and the president-elect got 56.6%. And even the president-elect's party got 183 seats out of 276. According to the BBC report, they only needed one more seat so they can get to term majority, that they didn't have to wait for other MPs, opposition MPs, to make a decision whether they can pass budget or pass laws or so. But thank God, God didn't want that to happen, so it didn't happen. Let's go for the news.
Joe Biden and First Lady Jill Biden visited New Orleans on Monday to grieve with the relatives of the victims of the deadly New Year's Day attack in the city's popular French Quarter tourist attraction. The Bidens first made an unannounced stop at a makeshift memorial at the site where the attack occurred. They later headed to a church where they met with the families of the victims and attended an interfaith prayer service where the president offered words of support to the city.
My wife Jill and I are here to stand with you, to grieve with you, to pray with you, to let you know you are not alone.
14 people were killed and 35 injured when Shamsud Din Jabbar drove a rented pickup truck at high speed through the entertainment district as revelers celebrated the first hours of 2025. Jabbar crashed his vehicle and opened fire on police, who returned fire and killed him. The New York judge who presided over the hush money trial of Donald Trump has rejected the U.S. president-elect's efforts to postpone Friday's sentencing hearing while his lawyers appealed his guilty verdict. Here's AP correspondent Julie Walker with the story.
Trump can still ask the appeals court to intervene and order a stay or pause. His lawyers told Mershon that if his sentencing happens Friday, Trump will not be there, but appear by video. The judge signaling he's not likely to sentence the president-elect to any punishment for his conviction on 34 felony counts of falsifying business records, something Trump denies. Julie Walker, New York.
The Pentagon announced Monday that 11 detainees at the U.S. military prison in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, have been transferred to Oman. This is VOA News. All 11 men were natives of Yemen. They have been held at Guantanamo Bay for more than 2 decades without ever being charged with a crime. The transfer is the latest push by the Biden administration to clear the facility of its last remaining detainees before leaving office. Guantanamo Bay once held nearly 800 men who were swept up in the war on terror begun under the administration of former President George W. Bush in the wake of the September 11, 2001 terrorist attacks on the United States. The latest release brings the number of detainees down to just 15. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has vowed to, quote, settle accounts with the gunmen who carried out Monday's deadly attack at a village in the occupied West Bank, including anyone who assisted them. AP correspondent Haya Panjwani has more. AP correspondent Haya Panjwani has more.
Our army is currently conducting a manhunt for the gunman.
Israeli government spokesman David Mencer. At least 3 people were killed in the attack in the Palestinian village of Al Funduq on one of the main east-west roads crossing the territory. Mencer spoke about the victims.
3 Israelis were murdered, 2 women in their 60s and 1 man in his 40s. 8 people were wounded. And of course, families shattered.
Hamas praised the attack in a statement, but did not claim responsibility for it. I'm Haya Panjwani.
Former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani was declared to be in civil contempt of court Monday in a case brought by 2 election workers in the southern state of Georgia over his false accusations they tried to help steal the 2020 U.S. presidential election from Donald Trump. Here's Reuters correspondent Freddie Joyner.
The New York judge found that Giuliani failed to properly respond to requests for information about assets that could be turned over to satisfy a roughly $148 million defamation judgment granted to Ruby Freeman and her daughter, Wandrea Moss, back in 2023. Giuliani, the former personal lawyer to Republican President-elect Donald Trump, conceded he made defamatory statements about Freeman and Moss, and a judge ruled he was liable for defamation. Giuliani has been disbarred for making false claims about the 2020 election and pleaded not guilty to criminal charges in Georgia and Arizona that he aided Trump's failed attempt to overturn his loss.
That was Reuters correspondent Freddie Joyner. Much of the United States is dealing with the aftermath of a major winter storm that covered numerous states with several centimeters of snow and ice. The polar vortex that triggered the storm is also expected to bring bitter cold to millions of residents, with temperatures expected to fall well below 0 degrees Celsius. I'm Richard Green, VOA
News. 24 hours a day. This is VOA Africa.
In fighting corruption, you always have to start with yourself. You have to be the example. And corruption is not only among government officials, but it has become a culture. We came as a rescue mission, and we know one of the biggest problems there is corruption. And I want to say that we start by making sure those people that we bring to cabinet are people of integrity. And secondly, I want to make sure that even beginning with myself, we'll declare our assets and want to make sure that this is well known. The purpose of coming to government, to know that it's public service. And if you are not ready to serve the public, you can go elsewhere. But we want to make sure that we start on a clear note that the people of our country stood on line, they protected the votes, not to bring a team again that will do the same thing that other people are doing or worse. So it's a clear message, declare your asset, make sure that we are prepared to audit the outgoing government so that they tell the Liberian people of their stewardship, and to make sure that we start on a footing where people know that they come to serve the public and not themselves. If they don't understand that, they actually fall where it may.
Mr. President, like you talked about asset declaration starting from yourself and the people who work with you, as well as the outgoing administration. How do you plan to avoid the semblance of targeting people? Because some people will say these are politically motivated to tarnish their reputation or to go against them, people from certain tribes or specific parts of the country. How do you plan to avoid this?
We are aware of that. And when we talk about auditing, it's not going to be a Liberian auditing. We want to make sure that our international partners work with us for a public tender, for competent and renowned auditing firm.
Gather now before the gathered and play. Look at the Habed massacre. Look at the Luching Church massacre. Look at the Lima raid. Look at the Kalfi Duboro massacre. Economic criminals. Bring them to justice now. Bring them to justice now.
John the man that you want, I don't hit. I didn't see that we can't understand. You know, you told the man that you want, I don't hit. I didn't see that I don't understand. You know, you do it, I don't play your side. You know, you do it, I don't play your side. You say you not do it, I don't play your side. And you say you not do it, I don't play your side. LAB, what peaceful to the fire damage, he has freedom fighters for us. They talk on top of that, babe. But for the greed and power, poor people suffer. Children, malnourished, dry, some of them puffer. But the people there all and say they must single fire. What's straight bullet, picking up people who were so terrified. Hey man, you go hide the chest of massacre. But they in the boss working with the deal that are so far. They don't walk for all the dirty ways. So the innocent people for free and they won't get away. You not forget, you break your fuck and calamity all the ground for just for the shit. For you know what with infinity. Spending my own rebellion and trying to justify it was for him and the team because nobody said that lie. Everybody now we go. Our sister, the rest of good show. We're not sure that the time for us to follow. That one will be our way yellow. That way yellow. That one will be our way yellow. That way yellow. That one will be our way yellow. That way yellow. That one will be our way yellow. You turn the one that you want on your head. And the thing that we can't understand. And you turn the one that you want on your head. And the thing that I don't understand. You know you do it, take okay your side. You know you do it, take okay your side. Says you not do it, take okay your side. You say you not do it, take okay your side. And no one says go. To you, we know you like a follow. You know how I see. Don't see my go unpunished. See, I put in the cookie jar, not something to encourage. Sit in the country, my Janata, baby horses by baby cars, violent citizens on strike. They are the team making me cry. There will always be penalty for coming from me. We wanna let it go start free and not in jail. We not forget your action cause calamity or bad suit. Walk out walk free with impunity. I go face justice, the other one I will see when I joke. You come in the center, some for the other cheese, they take it at you. Nobody above the law, I speak for those that I get involved. We're not making a fun, like just to be fair, we shouldn't avoid. 14 years of process, for hell of a setback. If you put your ball, now poverty on the dust spot. All the embezzle, your hustle, they put your money, your palm so that I got for us to put your on that one. That one will be our way yellow. That way yellow. That one will be our way yellow. That way yellow. That one will be our way yellow. That way yellow.
And that's why welcome back to the program Sky Morning Live on Sky 107.1. We are here every weekday morning, Monday to Thursday. Today is it's Tuesday, it's the 7th day of January 2025. My name is Matthias Labindi, and I'm here with right now. I have in the studio the publisher of the Nation Times newspaper, Mr. Octavian Williams. Michael, let's adjust this again. This is okay. Mr. Octavian Williams is my guest this morning, and we're going to be talking about the Broadcast Administration, 1 year in power. What can he say about the regime's performance so far in terms of grading? How would he, as a publisher, grade the regime? From what angle? What sector is he going to focus on? What sector has his paper focused on in terms of closely observing the operations? Is it the communication sector, say public relations of government arm? All of the public relation officers at various institutions and things. What exactly can he say about that? before we talk to Octavian, let's go to Zozo, Lofa County, where we are getting information. Earlier, we got information this morning that. Right. Yeah. Good morning, sir.
Hello.
Yeah. Good morning. Hello. There's something going on there in that area, where, according to the information since 12 last night, the residents of a town in Zozo there, they blocked the road because, according to them, an unknown person killed one of their citizens. So there are no vehicles moving around there, and so there's a pastor on the scene. Well, we're not getting him, Michael. We can continue doing that. Let's focus on the guest at the moment. So yes, Mr. Williams is here. So we're going to talk about a variety of issues, and basically he's going to be providing his own observation and maybe grading the government from his own perspective. All right, so let me recognize you. Those of you watching us there, Roberto Riches is watching from Louisville, Kentucky. David E. Harris is watching from, all right, he said, Happy New Year. Thank you. Happy New Year, my brother. James Ford is also watching from Duazon. Alaric Brown Waribo, with a long list. All right. Okay, so yeah, welcome. Mr. Williams, it's been a pleasure. It's always a pleasure having you. It's been a long time since we last, had a radio interaction. I know we've had cross paths 1 or 2 times at places, but on the radio. Welcome this morning.
Well, it's a pleasure to be back home. And whenever a journalist is in a media terrain, you're obviously home, because the host of that radio is under obligation to protect you.
Absolutely.
And not to put you in public glare harms. So I'm gratified. As a matter of fact, I started from Radio Veritas. So my first interaction with media work has been electronic media before I came to print media. So I'm gratified to be home.
Right. Welcome. And let's get it going quickly. We lost one of our brothers, Mr. Zoom Domso.
Of course.
Did you cross path with him?
On many occasions.
I didn't get to meet him in person.
Oh, no. Man. And in fact, prior to his death, we had issues.
Okay.
And I have to attend the funeral because no matter what, I remember there was one good that he did for me. Right. And I'm not one of those Liberians who will be ungrateful to say, because the man must say I had issue before he died, so I'm not going there. In fact, no, Liberians, we do not remember one good. Right. We capitalize on the evil. We make the evil to prevail. We cross paths. Right. And it was sad yesterday for the media community, as a matter of fact. Zoom also used to work for the RFI, Radio France International, our Reporters Without Borders. He used to work with Taylor across the line when he had the NPRAG government. So he has been, in fact, he was a sports reporter before coming to politics as well. Okay. So he has been a long time Liberian reporter, and it was sad yesterday, but we can do anything.
Yeah, certainly we can do anything. Let's talk about ourselves first. Talking about ourselves, we just recognize the passing of one of our own. The Boagas administration has stayed in power for a year now. Let's compare from your own understanding, do a comparison for us to say that we as administration in the first 1 year, this is how the media was treated. And in the first 1 year under the Boagas administration, this is how the media is being treated. What can you say? Who did what for the media, negatively or positively, from your own comparative analysis?
So I like to go back a bit. Mm-hmm. Well, the Liberian media has been suffering from torture and trauma. When you went back to
physical or emotional torture,
both physical and emotional torture. When you went back to the Samuel Kayando regime, you will realize the death of Charles Bale in a battle situation with Samuel Kayando, the coup, and so he died in crossfire, mainly with Brent from the Samuel Kayando side. You came to former President Taylor. You realize the trouble sword, the Hassan Belete situation. you came to former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. You realized the media were more so with unrealistic lawsuits. I wish the international community branded the Liberian government placing self-censorship on the media. And some of us suffered indirectly and directly, because I was in prison 4 times under the President Sirleaf regime. And some of the issues for which we went to prison today, they still linger in, for example, the Bobolu Road that should have been constructed by the Pillar Construction Company, one of the stories we wrote. And then he gave the man over $72 million. The man got no prior work history in construction work. Go to Bapolo today and see whether there is a road there going to the famous Bele Yara prison compound. Go there. I challenge you and see whether there's a pinch of road after 72 million was spent of taxpayer money in thin air. In a couple of the international reports, that the Freedom House report, the 28 progress report on the signature of Ben Kemo at the time, the 28 progress report on Liberia by the UN Secretary General at that time. When you go in that report on the 8th page, you will see what they said about the media. You come to the Treasury Department reports, you will also see the grading they gave President Sirleaf with government and media relation. On former President George Weah, we scored 0-2 again on media and government relations. Now to President Bouaga
for the first year,
or throughout.
Oh, so
throughout.
If throughout,
the report is every year,
and that means
the report is every year,
right?
Yeah. So January, February, like in March, go and review the report. January, February, March, every March of each year, the situational report from Freedom House, the Integrity Hub, Global Witness. You go to all of those reports, and sometimes we as journalists, we also lazy. We don't go to those reports. We don't review them. But some of us is our regular. In March, I'll start going through all of those reports. Now, government and media relation on President Joseph Boakai is in 30.
30? Why?
Oh. The first issue is, it is traditional when the president of the Republic of Liberia takes over, within the first 3 months, he or she should meet media executive. You should meet stakeholders, the Relations Council, the civil society actors. So the first 3 months, you will meet all of the major actors with all of the sectors. But the media being the fourth estate, in more cases, is the first. Because the first branch, the second branch, the third branch, they're the three. The media becomes the fourth, because the media is that watchdog that watches over the three branches of government.
Right.
So, President Boakai met the media.
So because he has not met the media, so therefore the grading point that you gave him for media government relation is 30.
No. I'm starting with him, but because he's the head of the state, he's the head of government. So I'm starting with him. I'm coming down.
Okay.
So if the president of the republic refuses to meet the media, what do you expect from his co-workers or those he employed?
Are they not responding to media concerns, to calls? Say, for example, you want to report a story, you want to investigate, you reached out to, say, Jeremiah PR, Minister of Information, or reach out to Mo Ali at Water and Sewer. Are these people not responding? Because
so when you go to the upcoming grading of the government ministries and agency, when you went to the information ministry, you see most of the media editors will tell you because of the minister personal relationship with the media. Now I have kept a level of peace or sanity between government and media relations. The government, you appoint a press secretary to the president, the information minister. Those are the angles of the ministry. Let's forget about lands, ministries, and agency, personal relationship with media people. No. Let's forget about that. The press secretary to the president What is upgrading? What is the press secretary? Go and ask the executive mansion.
I don't know. You tell me.
No, go and ask the executive mansion.
You are the one here.
You are senior reporter.
You are the one here providing scorecards.
The information minister.
Generally, you already said the government scored 10% in terms of media government relations. Generally. So now you want to share the 10% across the board.
I'm done with the president.
Right.
You leave that.
Because the president has not met the media since he took over more than a year now, this is unprecedented. Did we do that?
Yes, in less than 2 months.
Okay,
we have met the media.
Okay,
President Salif did it periodically.
But you did not give me the scorecard for we though.
Well, we are no.
But it says zero.
No.
Score zero.
I said the
Freedom Hub report, right?
No, they have some lapses
for the first 1 year.
No, they have some lapses. There were lapses. I'll come back.
I remember the first year. I remember the first year. Some of us here, we were targeted personally, all right, by some of our friends that are talking about the Igbo Mav and Eton loans and all of that. All these conversations.
There were some lapses. I said there were some lapses.
Right.
We weaponized the media. All of those issues. I don't want to jump because I already did the Salif. I came from Samuel Doe. I came to Taylor. I came to Salif. So I'll play between Weah and President Salif before we go forward on rule of law and other issues.
Right.
So there were lapses on George Weah. Huge lapses. Arrogancy, rudeness. And before they make up their mind, it was late. Then they decided to reconcile with the media. So what they even did, when they made all of the mistakes, when they decided to reconcile the media, they split the media into factions. People that were called
the independent inquirer.
No. People that were called in our land media. That Menaclair.
I didn't hear about that group.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, that Menaclair. I was part of that. I was. Somebody told me, you gotta come clear.
Yeah,
a couple of times I heard.
Yeah, the media and the split in our land.
Yeah,
and Menaclair.
Yeah.
So the in our land media people they talk to.
I don't get that.
They talk to the in our land media people.
Okay.
The men in our land.
Yeah, so meaning they got
the other men they not clear.
Yeah, not clear.
So we some of us before in the not clear.
I heard that many times, but I'm just getting the real understanding of the Menaclair. I mean, yes, some of my friends.
Menaclair, so I will get you.
Okay.
Yeah, so some of us were in the Menaclair land.
Because you want to be independent.
Of course.
So it means you're not clear.
Yeah, we're not clear.
Okay.
If you are speaking as when I finish dealing with the United Party people, they will say the men are clear. Some of
the folks in
those are petty issues, and this is how we run our country over and over and over and over, and that is why we're not going anywhere.
So you're trying to bring about the arrowheads in terms of media,
so
communication.
Yeah, let's go back.
Press secretary and the Minister of Information.
Yeah, so let's go back to the press secretary and the information ministry.
Right.
When you went back to former President Taylor regime, you look at his propaganda machineries. Former President Taylor had one of the best in terms of information minister, in terms of press secretary, in terms of the guys that were running the entire media show for former President Taylor. They scored good. They were at their best. And when you call some of the names, they were strong names. For example, Alexander Kulu, the late Jeff Motala. Those are all strong guys. Reginald Goodrich. They were not fizzy pressing on his media team. They were men and they were women. Professional people that you knew when you heard their names. You knew, yes, I'm going to talk to a media person. Experiencing jobs comes a lot. You cannot uproot the fact that experience got nothing to do with professionalism. So we came on President Salif. Yeah, President Salif, at a certain level, she did her best. But then later, she started pressing Jakla. President Salif was one of those presidents because of her advocacy and because of the torture she went on in advocacy or during a period in politics. We really believed that she was going to be one of the best. But she too had lapses, strong lapses. For example, the same month President Salif signed the Table Mountain Declaration, the same month she closed the newspaper. knowing that a president cannot sue while being president. President said he sued the New newspaper. And the following day, she closed it. Go to the go to Global Witness Report on Liberia, media portion. Go to the Freedom House. Go to that same report I talked about the 28th Progress Report, the UN 28th Progress Report in Liberia. One on the signature of Ben Ki-moon. It's there. It was there. And I was so saddened that a president who came from the advocacy background, who was imprisoned on many occasions because of her stand on national issue, could stood that low. I was ashamed.
But let's focus on Boakai. Maybe in Wia, because we have time.
Yeah. Let's go to Boakai and Wia.
You're talking about the two. You've not really given me what you really wanted to say about the Minister of Information, the press secretary. How do these people work together in ensuring that?
So on President Wia, his first information minister who Eugene.
That's Eugene. Eugene had a little leave to go to America.
Leju Rene was the Minister of Information. Eugene Fagon was one of the deputies.
Not Eugene Fagon, I think Len Eugene.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then Eugene Fagon came. So what was the ministry performance? Poor. The only thing I helped Leju who as well, it was his media connections.
I
do not know why the government do not give premium priority to the Ministry of Information and the press secretary. Poor. The information ministry performed poor, very poorly. They were not supported because the information minister and the finance minister, they were not booty. So all of the money for the ministry, it was kept. So that won't cripple the information ministry. At a certain level, if you have the protests at the ministry.
How did that affect the media in general?
How will it affect the media? If the information minister is not prepared psychologically, will he be prepared on the physical aspect? It's not possible. If they say you do a job, and the job you do not have funds to perform as that person for that job, what will be going to job? They get you car to drive, no girls, you drive the car. Somebody say go drive my car. You enter the car. You reach Capital Baba, you reach.
So is it different now? Do the press secretary and the Minister of Information have the support of the president now fully?
Whether right now I do not know, but I do not believe they have the support financially. But that is not my issue. Let's go to the human capacity. Jeralima Pia, the first meeting he had with us, I boldly told him. I said, oh man, you the only general on this mission. Like when Kalusha Bwala took Gambia to African Cup against Nigeria, he was the lone soldier. In this ministry, you're the only person with the experience that serve in this ministry. All the people you have on board, they are new people. So your work is very hard. So in that case, you cannot employ or appoint a press secretary who was also a novice to the job.
But that's not his responsibility.
So you see the crash they having. The press secretary say the Liberal president is invited to go Ghana. Liberal president going to see the president of Ghana. After that, he's going to a friend Welling. We are telling friend. The information ministry and the press secretary must collaborate.
So before you're saying before Kula releases a press release to the public, she should send it to the minister.
They must collaborate. I said she should send it.
So
what? You must call the minister and say, "Listen to me, oh man, no press secretary work in isolation of the information minister. You'll be talking gibberish. Of course, they must collaborate."
I think we spend more time on the media. Let's go to the rule of law. I think the people.
Rule of law.
The government school is zero on rule of law.
Yeah, zero.
Why?
Oh, well, man, listen to me. Let me say something refreshly.
Before after corrupt officials.
Before further proceed, let me say something to you. When the election was coming, I'm a Liberian. I have the right and responsibility to tell people exactly what to do, what not to do. When the election was coming, we have chosen Omen Joseph Yuma Bwaga over George Weah for many issues. And we have elected people and said to them, the best thing to do is to bring this woman who is having a 40-year plus governmental experience than to have our brother, because he already missed the mark. There were a lot of mistakes, corruption, human rights violation. There's so uncountable issues. So we can't keep doing a test transmission where our left with politics. So the best thing to do is to test the ability of JMB. So, rule of law. JMB first test on rule of law was a 10-year position issue. Of course. And you know how the Supreme Court ruled. I don't know how to say it. The Supreme Court ruled. Supreme Court ruled. You bypass the Supreme Court and use different nomenclature and still force the people to where they should be. Even as George Weah mistakes. Those are not one of the mistakes he made to tamper with 10 jobs. From there, a new problem was coming. The rule of law. No investors will tamper in a terrain where the rule of law becomes an issue. When the Hulu Balu started on Capitol Hill, when we got on radio, we called on the president to intervene. We never took sides. Who's right? Who's wrong? We never took sides. We told him, Mr. President, there's Hulu Balu on Capitol Hill. If it was not careful, it will deepen. And when it deepens, it will cause an international embarrassment for us. One of those campaign promises that Bwaga made was not to run after speaker at the legislature. Going here, campaign promises. If it was going to be there, some of us were not ever going to support him. It was not packed. Go to the rescue mission, go to his campaign policy, play it. No. Now see the embarrassment we're going through. They're rare Ghana. See the embarrassment. No, not invite the other person. They invited the other person. The other person go to the plane door. He's saying that some kind of door leaving. Normally, the way president used to leave. They put their hand outside. They wave to the nation. Then the nation say, "Yeah, Mr. President." All those are shameful situations.
How could the president, have gotten involved with the issue of the impasse at the Capitol building?
Oh man, nobody should lie to you. That's why when I listen to Liberian people, sometimes it's laughable. But man, the Liberians, we are good in making leaders to turn to dictators. Some kind of people did it to him. When your President Chakla us telling him, your President Chakla, we're praising him.
So he
went to trouble politics.
With the legislature.
Let me interfere. Only President George Weah, except you telling me you're now a journalist to know what I'm about to say. But I know you incline and you know. There were 4 attempts to remove Buffer Chimok as speaker. President George Weah intervened by calling the legislature and told them, I do not want legislative noise. Go and ask my lawmakers or call George Weah today and play host to him. Yes, 4 times. There were attempts 4 times to remove Buffer Chimok as speaker. It was prevented by the president. That thing you're talking, legislative polity, the president is the head of the republic. The first citizen is the president. And the people in Robert G and Maryland fighting. The president said, I saw Eastern polity. Why is the president intervening now when it's late? When he doesn't intervene, why intervening now? Do you know, a few days ago, there was meetings called to resolve the issue? Do you know the president called Kufuor to ask him to resign? Why the president asking him not to resign if that was legislative polity? Why the president went to the Capitol building when the Capitol building got burned? Why he went there? The legislative polity is going to be to the executive mansion and legislature be to the legislature. When the big burning, they tell them, no, the legislative polity. It's like a whole Capitol building. It get turned to dust. And I'm going to legislative polity. Why he went there? It's a legislative polity.
You got a point.
Look, we should be frank with leaders, when the leaders are going wrong, that's how George Weah is poor. George Weah came as an honest person. You listen to George Weah's inaugural address. I took 2 keen words when he said, Liberian people, I know you're fast to get tired with people. So I'm here to play my part to leave the scene. Then he said another one. He said, I'm not going to put my hair on the chopping board for anybody who will corrupt the government. I will take decisions on you. He never did. Those are the 2 things I admire in George Weah.
So let me ask this question this way, right? So is it that there's something you said earlier that Liberians are good at making dictators?
I mean, leaders. We are good in making leaders to turn dictators. And that's what we're doing to Omen Baga right now.
Is it that these people, they come with the clear intention
of
doing some of the things that they want to do?
Of course.
But based on the way
they're surrounding,
their apologies to make them to feel, they tend to follow the path that they want them to go.
For example, if you say your justice minister should advise you on your justice minister tend to be the justice minister of 1980 or 1985, Onosama Kayando, who died in the street on dump site and advised you the wrong way. What do you expect?
So the current justice minister is behaving like the 1980 justice minister.
I'm just giving an example. The rule of law,
right?
The rule of law will also go to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court ruling in a situation. There were 2 sides in this confusion, quote unquote, majority and minority. Right? You gave me an opinion. And you said the other people who violated Article 43, Article 38, Article this, the ultra-virus. You are afraid of the people? I have said that if Liberia will go to another crisis, the rule of law would be the reason why. Because when Jesus Christ in the Pontius Pilate situation, what Pontius Pilate said, but not about Jesus Christ in the Pontius Pilate situation. Pontius Pilate called and said, these 2 people, the other men are raw. He's a murderer. The other man, the people say he's doing this. But so far, these 2 people, what did I say?
Who you want me to release to you?
They say release Barabbas, prosecute Jesus Christ. What Pontius Pilate said? He said, no. I bring the water here, my people. You bring water. He said, I see the clean water. I wash my hand. My hand not inside here. You're good. Because Pontius Pilate knew that Jesus Christ was that guilty. He knew. So he saved himself. Go to the precedent case.
Why this analogy?
Go to the precedent case on Johnny Lewis. Johnny Lewis, the former Chief Justice, the precedent case, the Edwin Snow, the Virginia group versus the Ashmore Street group. The quote unquote again, majority and minority. What was the ruling of the Supreme Court on the gavel of Johnny Lewis? He was clear and emphatic and told the president of the Republic of Liberia that the quote-unquote majority, they were in error, and any attempt for the president to go to Virginia to speak is a violation of the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia. The board has said on the bench that why they can give them 10 for the freedom of the Constitution, because they do not want you to be intimidated by the president in making decisions to save the state.
Okay.
The Supreme Court even did create more confusion
in this particular situation.
Of course. The ruling was almost like seeing where the Liberian Constitution is. Me, shall, we, ma.
Okay.
Yeah.
And these words are they can be ambiguous.
Of course.
Right.
You have to be clear with the law. Who's violating the law? Say it.
Say it.
Who's in right with the law? Say it and be clear.
Well, folks, let me inform you that we have Octavian Williams. Octavian is the publisher of the Nation Times newspaper. I don't know whether you are enjoying him, but he seems to be coming out really bold and maybe truthful. But you can agree or disagree. If you're following us, you can join us live on Facebook on Sky Communications Liberia Facebook page. Share the live, invite someone, drop your comments, tell us where you're watching from. We're going to read recognize you and read out your comments as well. We'll talk briefly about corruption, and then we just take a few calls. But while talking about corruption, Alaric Brown Warabi said, "Good morning, Matthias and the Sky Communications Liberia family. Listening to this clip, we play a clip concerning President Bouaka speaking on corruption. He said, all I can say is President Bouaka is currently having laissez-faire attitude towards corruption. He's yet to take actions against appointed officials who are adamant and disobedient in declaring and publishing their assets through the December 12th deadline has passed. We wish him the best luck, but he has to know some boon in the fight against corruption." All right. Okay. Thanks to the producer for putting it out there. Yeah, exactly. They stay there for some time. Right. That's Alaric Brown Waribi. Let's talk briefly about corruption. When you talk about rule of law, I think corruption is also one of rule of law.
Of course.
Because in the absence of a government seeking accountability, then it means that you're also tampering with the rule of law of the country. How is this government proceeding so far in terms of the fight against corruption?
Lip service.
Just know that we already have the
lip
office.
Service.
We have the office of the ombudsman. It is already active
don't
now.
waste your breath.
Just a moment. Just a moment. At least we now have an ombudsman. Initially, it was some people, but now we have an ombudsman. And secondly, we have the office of the War Crimes Court. All right, so those are moves.
Lip services.
Lip service. That's what the government is doing
with
the fight against corruption.
Lip services. Look, some of us that supported Bouaka, our head.
You supported Bouaka?
I supported Bouaka to take over as president. I did, of course, and I have no regret because I wanted good for Liberia. Yes.
Was George Weah so bad that you couldn't stand him anymore?
No, we just needed a swift change. We needed somebody to balance the governance system. And because we knew anything you do, Bouaka promised us that he would be a one-term president. And the only thing he wanted to do was to set the pace of our democracy. So let's come to corruption. The president, just his speech in Lofa, says many things. But before we go there, let's come to the ombudsman. You talked about this. Let me give it to you. You set up the ombudsman. The ombudsman's first job was to say, you cannot occupy two positions. You cannot be party chairman and you be working on the side. You cannot be party secretary general and you're working on the side. Immediately, the ombudsman, those in those positions went to court. They said the president already. The president already. If you were serious for corruption, in real life, it makes sense for anybody who it is against the law. But let's forget about it. It was against. There was not a black and white rating. But you as a president that said there will be no business as usual. When you heard that, you couldn't call your party people and tell them that thing I heard on radio or that thing I heard you doing. If I hear again, you go. The first issue. The ombudsman was challenged by our brother from LPRC, Twe, who is also holding on to his party position at the same time in government position. The party's chairman also challenged. You think anybody respect that ombudsman? No. And the people that are doing that people were party is the government.
But is there not written in that the code of conduct that people must complain? There must be a complainant. The ombudsman cannot just go to court. Why did the ombudsman even go to court? Is it the ombudsman that went to court or somebody else? Because people must complain that Octavian Williams is violating his office.
Yeah, listen to me. Right. There's something in law they call plain view doctrine. There's something in law they call plain view doctrine. If you saw a man killing another person, and you have the time to save that man, you say the law says I'm gonna go call police for it. So you not call police and save the man wrong. No law says that. No.
What do you mean?
But please, you have to save that level of that person.
Yeah, what point are you trying to make?
But it's glaring. The ombudsman is seeing it. It's glaring. So if the ombudsman themselves complain, they say to do, man, we go with that, we finish with that one. That one, the protocol you're talking about, let's leave that one. But is it not true that they're occupying two positions? True.
So what?
They're the party people. Because your party, you want second term. That the first thing will be asking you can't re-campaign to us. They are not all qualified people in your party. They are all qualified people. Why you do not want to relinquish the position to them? Why you want to eat cow, you eat elephant, you eat goat, you eat chicken, you eat dog. The other people don't get that rubber pad they got to their houses. Those are some of the issues. So we've gone with that one. The quote unquote water crime court. They're not going anywhere.
Why?
But we're going. You know Jala Babu. Hey, there where the war crime go.
The office of the War Crimes Court.
Yeah, okay. Go to that place and call Law Reform Commission. When Justice Banks were leaving Law Reform Commission, there was a 5-year strategic plan. I have a copy. The problem we're having, the journalists actively right now, they are not doing more investigation and they're not backgrounding people. In every democracy, the media detests the pace of the democracy, but in Liberia, there are newsmakers and they can tell what to do. Only few. When we were at our radical standpoint, they used to call black mirror. So I told somebody last time, I said, since the black mirror took a step back, we allowed the white mirrors. The newsmakers are happy. Go do an analysis. When they appoint somebody to the War Crime Court, the media must be able to do an investigation of this person, the high-profile places they serve, what they left there as a legacy, and what of those places.
So he lacks the moral? Is that what you're saying?
We're coming to his performance first on the institutions he had there before, where they are, what becomes them, what happened to them before he got there.
So he's not the right person, Octavian. Just hit the point, because we have
So go to Law Reform Commission where he had it, where Justice Ben left him. Go there and know the history. The University of Liberia, when he took one, the University of Liberia, dean of the law school, how many professors resigned? You remember the case? You remember the case with the former, Justice Minister Francis Johnson Morris?
Mm-hmm.
You remember the case with 2 students robbing the university law school?
Yeah, that did not write their test.
That woman with character, a woman, one of those few Liberian women with character and with principle, told you the people stole my grave. And you lied. The first thing that even made those students to argue with that professor, that was being very disrespectful to her. And she left the law school. Today, because of that, there's a second law school in Liberia. I don't know why many people know. Because second law school in Liberia.
I know of that.
And all of those renowned professors, even Justice Banks, they all left because of Jala Babu. You can't do you can't do whole war crime code. The first issue, what is a qualification in terms of human rights law? Because right now we're fast tracking. You're not putting people somewhere where they're going to learn, what they're going to do. That's the same thing we did to the president secretary. That is why the president said, brought that in here. When we were coming on a kids, when they tell you someone is the managing director of LEC, anything you do, that person is an electrical engineer. That LEC, no, that administrator thing, the administrator, they do it. No. So we men that did electrical engineering, why he went to school for? To go to water.
To connect wire.
The person at the level of the Landsman Ministry must be a geologist. He went to school to be a geologist. Mm. You tell him you can't go nowhere. And the man who did water packaging, you can't do Landsman. And they ask you that administrative job. And that is why my respect for Tiahon Gonglo stands in this country. And it will never lose until I die. Even in my grave, I respect Tiahon Gonglo.
Why?
When President Salif appointed Tiahon Gonglo to go to the ministry postal affairs, after he told the president what the president did, it was wrong. When he told the president, he said, no, I know nothing about postal affairs. No, I'm a lawyer by profession. If you want to appoint me and you believe I can work, send me in the legal sector. You can't take me from legal sector and then you come in to manage postal affairs. Well, I know about postal affairs. Well, so those are some of the mixed matches. And because of the people we are, we just accept anything.
Well, listen,
we just accept anything.
That's Octavian Williams.
So if the men do not have a human rights background in human rights law, practically and theoretically, why are you carrying the war crime code to go do a thing there?
Okay, let's leave it right there. He's Octavian. He's Octavian Williams. Octavian is a Liberian journalist. He's the publisher of the the Nation Times newspaper. Someone here says this is informed Liberian today. It says, so Liberians, who are we rescuing, the people or those in power? David E. Harris said, good morning, Mr. William. Thanks for being fearless and always speaking true to power. I love that. Let's see whether we can squeeze in a few calls on the program this morning. This is Sky Morning Live on Sky 107.1. We have Octavio. We're going to be having, like I said, these conversations going to continue up to maybe October, you know, and so up to the point that the president is going to deliver the State of the Nation address. People going to be coming.
Where the president going to do?
I don't know. You want to tell me where? We have one speaker. The Ghanaian Parliament recognized Richard Kun. As Speaker of the House of Representatives.
No, that letter is purported. We'll see today. We'll see men from board today.
Oh, the letter is purported.
But it is. Listen to me.
Is that no? Wait. There's something here.
It's a purported letter. Go to that letter and see the mistakes in that letter. See the contradiction in that letter. Read it properly. Besides, the Ghanaian government, ECOWAS sent an intermediary team to Liberia when the Speaker conflict started. The head of the Parliament of Ghana was on that delegation when they came to mediate. President Joseph Boakai left and said he went to go visit a junta in Sierra Leone. Never ever saw those people. And the advice and the recommendation, read that document good from start to finish.
But I'm not seeing the error here you're talking about in the letter.
I'll show you all of the errors.
Office of the Speaker.
I'm not giving you principle. Let's go to my principle. Lead that letter is purported. Don't waste your time on it. So, Funati Kofa will pick up it by 10 o'clock Sunday morning by the Ghanaian delegation, the Ghanaian Parliament head. The delegation was led by Edwin Snow to Ghana. They were picked up from the airport, from Kotoka Airport, straight on the Ghanaian escort. There is no way, because somebody calls say you don't know that Kun may speaker. So why Kofa there? They in 15-minute Ghana government read letter to say we change invitation. Is that possible?
Okay.
Logically, government do not run by impulse or impulses or by emotional feelings. Maybe that in Liberia can do it because we know for nyama chakla. The Ghana government that invited Kofa will never change Kofa invitation in less than 30 minutes or 30 seconds to say Kofa will not invite you go back.
This is deep, folks, and this is Otavin. I think we have 5 minutes. Can we call? Just talk few 2-3 persons. 077777107, 077777107, 07777221223 are the numbers you can call us on to participate in the program this morning. This is Sky Morning Live, and we have Octavian Williams. Let's squeeze in this person. We just have much. Good morning.
Thank you very much. Happy New Year.
Many happy returns. Welcome, sir.
Good morning to my people that are talking with you. Madam, Ali Patikuma Mepiking family are going to run a car.
Mepiking, go ahead.
No matter, I agree with the people also when it comes to the article, the president official declaring as a author. Some of them are not declared as a, but I agree. The case is still for that. The president will be taking action, but now cannot be sitting and fasting people. What are they must declare?
Okay, let's take this overseas call as well. Oh man, his line is terrible. Man, Peking can call back, but we don't have much time anyway. Hello.
Yeah, how you doing, my brother?
Fine, thank you. Welcome.
Yeah, this is Sam. I'm calling from Australia. I want to say thanks to your guest. You know, one thing I like about him, whenever he comes on the show, he's very knowledgeable. And he always gives some insight to informations that are not really known to the public. And I want to agree with him to a certain extent regarding why the party chairman and what's his name from LPRC did. They indirectly undermine their own government, because they should have backed the president. And you see, these guys are not setting any good tone, because they are the future that could be in other positions. It's not JMB, it's them. And finally, I want to say that I think JMB, the biggest mistake he made was to bring in too many of past government officials that have been compromised in so many ways. I think JMB have found himself in the same bubble that former Mr. President Weah was in, that he couldn't get his hair out. But you know, all these things just point to Liberia as a deep society that when you are not in government, you do not know. So the government, I think it's like a family thing. They just get people to run campaign. Once someone win, that family come back together to rule. I think that's what happened in that country. And there's a serious need for reform, to be honest with you. Thank you for the time.
All right. Thanks for your contribution, my brother.
Good morning.
Yeah, the last person. Hello.
Good morning, Mr. Abendi. Good morning to Mr. William.
Good morning.
Everything I call from Benson Street.
Go ahead.
Mr. William, thank you for remaining unbending on issues. And thank you for always speaking truth to power. I love you for that. Thank you.
Okay. That's all you called to say. Mr. Williams, you have 1 minute to just wrap up. Thanks so kindly for, accepting our invitation.
Yeah, so my 1 minute, let me say frankly that my head is back in Sheen. I'm actually disappointed in GMB and his folks. Most of them are my friends. And this new year, if they do not change the mode of governance, I can assure them that GMB will be a unity party. Let me just leave GMB. The unity party will be the same like George Weah. The Liberians people, they are actually disappointed. You have to go to street corners, engage the views of the Liberians. You will see dissentment on their faces. People came to me for Christmas and all of their expectations were low. So there's one beginner, I always repair my shoes. He said, people that help or anything. I said, my beginnings, I'm sorry. So somebody said, we'll have one conversation and say, you sure you supported Joseph Boakai? You supported him, you'll not be criticizing him. You're not criticizing, I laugh. That is the thing about us as Liberians. When I support him, I am under obligation to make sure that he be upright.
Right.
If he's not upright, I cannot vouch for him further, or I cannot defend him further. What are we going to defend? In reality, what are we going to defend GMB for?
Okay.
The information minister calls that often. Yeah, there are few progresses. Yeah, few places they are building. Yeah, some people try. It is impossible that it will be 100% wrong. There are few small things people go on, but the overriding factors, mommy, you have confusion in your country. Investor will not come.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, investor will never ever come, and this was not the reason we elected this woman.
Thank you.
Because we have all of this hulu balu and or tenure issue, ombudsman, capital billing. No.
All right. Yeah. Thank you.
So I have this conversation over and over. Yeah, there are a lot of issues we need to clear.
I'm going to pair you with somebody else.
Of course.
For the end of this
week.
But
you clear for at least 2 hours.
Absolutely. Yeah, and he's Mr. Octavian Williams. Octavian is the publisher of the Nation Times newspaper. I just want to leave you with this message. You say a man with our enemies he has no qualities. All right. My name is Matthias. I just have a wonderful day.